Okay, let me go to the other side of the table. Projectors. See, projectors have a signature. And the signature for projectors is success. Success. In other words, if you're a projector, what matters for you in your life, that the things that you do bring you success. And they bring you success at every level that you can think about that. In other words, if you do something and you're not a success at it, if you fail at things, this is horrendous for you. And what it does is it brings bitterness into your life. And there's nothing worse than bitterness. Bitterness is a poison. It's a poison. So you have a very special gift, projectors. It really is. You are here to be guides. Guides. You have an ability to recognize. You have an ability to see things in others, to see things that are systematic. One of the most important things for you as projectors is to find that thing that you get to really study deeply. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be scholastic. Okay? It's not about that. It's finding that thing, that system that you can really master. Because the deeper that you go into mastering one thing, that's the thing that is going to give you power and success for the rest of your life. But you also have to be able to find it. The dilemma of being a projector is you're not an energy type. And what that means is that you're always going to be reliant on others to process things in your life. And those others are actually dependent on you because, in a sense, they're waiting for your direction. You know, the ideal is when you see a projector and a generator working together. Because they both give each other exactly what is necessary. Now, the whole thing about being a projector is understanding that because you're a non-energy type, you become super slave generators. In other words, you become the kind of people that run around like mad and never are really running around for any purpose whatsoever. You just get caught in the rat's maze, you know? Zzz, nothing going on, right? And it's everybody else's energy. One of the things you have to understand is how sensitive your aura is to a lot of people. You know, if you're a generator, generators have enveloping auras. You know, when a generator walks up to you, before you even get near them, they're all over you. You know, it's like a giant cosmic bear hug, right? You know, they're all around you. And generators can take in multitudes in their bear hug, right? But a projector has an aura that is more like a bow and arrow. It goes like this. And it goes right into the other person. I mean, I can be in, you know, I'm doing this thing and there's a lot of people around. I can feel a projector at my back instantaneously. You know? It's like, whoa, because it goes right into you because that's what you do. Now listen to what happens to you. If you're a projector and you've got two people in front of you, one of them is going to get pissed off with you. It's such a funny thing to watch. You know? And you can watch it over and over and over again. It's a real movie. Right? Because the whole thing about a projector is perfect with one other person. They will give you the perfect attention. And it's their way of working. Nothing more confusing to a projector than a team. You know? A whole bunch of forces that they're trying to deal with at the same time because they cannot. If you see generators at a party, they're all huddled together in a kind of mush puddle, you know? And there are projectors off on the side, one-on-one with people. Because that's really the way it is. And by the way, for the manifester that's here, you sort of walk through and go out. We manifestors don't hang around very long in those scenes. You know, we find both generators and projectors to be aliens. You know, I mean, what to do? We're all different. See, the beauty of what it is to get rid of bitterness, because if you're a projector, you do not want to live with bitterness. You don't want that taste in your mouth. And you see, for you, it's always hanging over your head. It's like that sword, you know, in mythology that hangs over the head that says, could be a failure, could be a failure. The secret to you, you have to allow it to come to you. Projectors are here to be invited, formally. Formally. It's not about you looking for it. It's about you being ready. Because the one thing for you to understand is that you're always going to be recognized. You are always going to be recognized. I think it's the most difficult thing for young projectors to grab. Because your aura is such that you're always going to bring recognition. There are always going to be people. I remember telling a friend of Loki's who was a projector to be very careful on the street because he had the kind of costume the police like, you know? And I said to him, you're a projector. They're going to see you. You're standing out like a sore thumb, you know? Don't do that. And of course, it's the power of the projector. So don't worry about, they're not going to see me and they're not going to recognize my talent and they're not. Don't believe a word of that. Don't put that in your head because it's not the truth. The truth is that you will be recognized, but you have to be ready. And the readiness again comes from, what do you do with your life? All of these little decisions that you make, you have been in the most dictatorial environments. That's what childhood is. We all know that. It's the way it works, And in that kind of an environment, you don't necessarily get the opportunity to really find your authority. What is your power, your decision making. There's so many things in your life now. The tracks have already been set, haven't they? There's so much about your life right now in which you are powerless. And it's time for you to understand that that is not the case. You're not here to live that. You're here to discover what is correct for you. You're old enough, you're smart enough, and it's not it's not the kind of thing that you need to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. Really, it's simple. It's just about changing the way in which you deal with things. It's about understanding something very important about your mind. It's fun to watch, but don't trust it. Don't trust it. Minds are really good at looking at things. I have a really good mind. It's really good at looking at things. It's useless for me. I don't let my mind tell me what to do. My authority comes out of my spleen. I'm a in-the-moment kind of hunch person. That's me. I don't know anything until it happens. We're all different. I used to trust my mind. It destroyed my life. It was awful. I was no good to myself, and I certainly wasn't good to anybody else. And it's what happens to most people. What happens to most people is that they just get lost into life. They get lost in that whole process, and they never get an opportunity to find out what's really there for you, for each and every one of you. Because each and every one of you have an enormous potential. And that's not some kind of fairy tale story. The fact is everybody has a potential. Most of them never touch it. Most of them never even know it's there. Most of them never have a chance to live it. The beauty is to recognize that power in you, all of you. To begin to understand that it's time for you to find that place inside of yourself that's going to tell you precisely what you need. When I started my work, I used to do a lot of readings, thousands of people that I dealt with. And it really freaked me out. Because what freaked me out was they all hated themselves. Really. People who just don't like themselves. Look in the mirror and wish they were something else. You don't want to be like that. Don't want to look in that mirror and wish you're something else. You want to look in that mirror and see something that you really like. And it's not something that you define by what other people think. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what their opinions are, what their impressions are, what their this and that is. What matters is that the moment that you can take your life in your own hands, you can begin to trust yourself and you can begin to love yourself. The biggest trap in this point in your life is looking for somebody to love you. Be very careful. Be very careful. The fact that somebody loves you, is not the point. The fact that you love yourself is really the point. You have to see it in yourself. It's nice to recognize that in others, but to see it in yourself, to know that you're worthy, to know that you don't need that love, that you don't need that friendship, that you don't need that trip, whatever it may be. To be so clear about that, because if you don't take control of your lives now, you'll never have control of your lives. You won't. And you'll spend the rest of your lives listening to other people tell you what the hell to do and push you this way and that way. This life is not an easy place, eh? These people that live out here in this world, they're all caught in this trap and they're helpless in it. And it's not what's here for you, and you're young enough that you don't have to have all this conditioned bullshit, that others have. You have a chance to just break free. Obviously, I can't teach you everything in this. But as you saw in the film, if you go to the Jovian Newcomer Center, there's an enormous amount of stuff that's for free. Huge amount of stuff. If you go into the Jam Player, there's a free audio library, so you can learn about your type. You can hear me describe all of the different things that you have in your design. But the most important thing, the thing that I tell every adult, that I tell anybody that I work with, this is not about believing me. Don't believe me. This is not the trip. You know, it's the same thing. Don't believe anybody else. You have to experiment with this. You can see it for yourself. You experiment with it, you'll see. It will change the way in which your life works. It'll eliminate the resistance in your life. You'll be healthier, you'll be happier, and you'll be able to go in a direction that's your direction. See, I'm for everybody being unique. This is where the real magic is. It's not about comparison. It's not about who's better, who's this, who's that. It's about understanding that each and every one of us is special, really, truly special. And that specialness only comes out when we make it come out. Because nobody else is going to take it out of you. Nobody else is ever going to ask you to be unique. No one. They want you to be what they want you to be. So you have to define your own life. And this is a way that you can do it. It's a way that you can experiment with making decisions. It's really simple. That's all it's about. Those decisions in your life, those things that are going to matter for you, wait for them. Wait for them. Don't be afraid that they won't come. Wait for them. And begin to understand how you work. Projectors, you need a timeline. Very important for you. The most dangerous thing for a projector is to be exhausted. It's the most dangerous thing. And you're really susceptible to exhaustion. And it takes a lot of toll on your body, and it takes a lot of toll on your psychology. So, if you're hanging out with a generator, by the time the generator goes to sleep, you're still cranking. Because you're still riding their energy. And then you're the one who's totally exhausted when it's over. So make sure that you protect your energy system. So as a projector, don't get caught up in, doing the all-nighters unless it's absolutely worthy. Make sure you get your sleep because it's essential for you. And in the end, it all comes down to one thing. It comes down to you. It comes down to you taking responsibility for your life and making sure that, the things that you do in this life are things that you love to do. Most people don't think that's possible. I know it's true. I've seen it over and over and over again. If you insist on being you, if you insist on it, you'll get to do those things that you love to do, that will fulfill you, that will bring you your satisfaction and will bring you success. It is the way that it goes. Right? To all of you out there that have been watching, I hope that you enjoyed that. And I hope you'll take this opportunity to really find out more so you can begin your experiment. And but remember, most of all, as I always say, all this is about loving yourself. You love yourself, you're going to have a good life. Okay, bye from Ibiza. Thanks for watching.
Put aside that old baggage and all your disbelieving.